at halftime, like you spoke to play, is that desperation to lead that experience in the locker room after the game?
Yeah, it is. Winning's hard. Winning is hard. And so when you do win, you want to make sure that everybody understands how hard it is and how big it is. You know what I mean? So that's really the biggest part about it, is just making sure we stay engaged and stay understanding that that's the most important thing. And when you do it in any fashion, it needs to be celebrated in some way.
I want to ask about Malik. How's he doing? Has the headaches gone away? Is he
Yep.
100% for the game tomorrow?
I think so. I think so. He's doing a lot better. He really rallied just to get back out there at the end. Just everything he had to go through in the back, and getting IVs and doing all that, doing whatever to try to get back on the court. And so
Was
he
he dehydrated or has he had migraines before? Has he had headache issues before?
It's a little bit of, we still trying to figure out. He has had them before. It could have been dehydration. It could have been, lack of sleep. It's just a bunch of things that it could have came down to. But we'll try to better hydrate him and get him ready for this game on Saturday.
And how important is it? I mean, going up against UVA, can you talk about what the challenges they bring and how important it
Yeah.
will be to have a full squad against them?
Yeah, they're really good. Like a lot of teams in the ACC, but I would say they're one of the better ones. I think they're one of the best teams that we have played all year. I think they are better than Florida when we played them. Now Florida's playing better now, but they are better than Florida when we played them. Coach Odom's been a great coach everywhere he's been, starting at Lenore Ryan. They play exciting brand of basketball, multiple drives, a bunch of threes. They got big bodies. So it's a good test for us. This game is what you want to be in, and it's a caliber of team that can be in the Sweet 16. So it's good to see where you are at this point in the season, especially at getting later in the season.
Coach, you got with AJ, and you got Abuka, Caleb, and now you got DeRidder. What's been you talked about how good the freshman class has been this
Yeah.
year, but what makes him stand out from
I
last year?
mean, he's a guy, you can tell he's been a long time pro. You can tell he's played high level basketball. He doesn't get sped up. He's physical. He's got great size. He plays inside, plays outside. You can play through him. He just does a good job of just playing really poised. And you can tell that he's played professional for a long time. I think that's his best asset, is that he plays with great poise and great patience.
What do you have to do? I mean, you're not going to give us your secrets, but what do you have to do to counter that?
You have to just give them different looks. You have to keep them guessing. You have to play different coverages. You have to go at them. You got to think, maybe you trap him, maybe you don't. You just got to keep him guessing to kind of keep him off balance. He's one of those guys you're not necessarily going to speed up because he's such a good player. So you just got to make him think as much as possible.
Coach Dallin Hall doesn't have the flashy box score, but he seems to do a lot of things that
Yep.
contributes to winning.
Yep.
What are some of those intangibles that you and your staff have noticed that he does so well?
He plays off 2 feet when he gets in the paint. He's another guy like their whole team. They play with great poise in the paint. They come to stops. They let it settle. He makes read. He defends. He runs and he plays in the pick and roll. He's another guy who's older. With his time at BYU and everything he's done, he's just they have a team full of really, really, really good college players who have experience, and you can see it. And some of the experience, like the Ritter, comes from just playing basketball professionally. But you look at Malik Thomas, you look at Dalen Hall, you look at, we talked about the Ritter. Chance Mallory plays older than he should as a freshman. And, some of the White who comes off the bench. So they have a bunch of people that they can throw out there. Sam Lewis from Toledo, who's won a lot of games. So he's done, I think, one of the best jobs in the country with his roster construction. And getting a bunch of people who fit his style of play.
Coach, freshmen across the country seem to be having some success, and also your freshmen. What has changed in college basketball in the last few years that freshmen seem to be more ready to play as soon as they enter a program?
It's a great question. I think a big part of what has changed this year, I think this class that came in has just top end talent throughout it. And a lot of freshman class haven't had that in the past. I think this is the best one we've seen in a while. To me, still, I believe your freshman is one of your most talented players. You have these older guys out the portal who have more experience and who you know what you're going to get from them, I guess, more. They can be more reliable, but your freshmen, you look at it, they can come in and they're just a certain level of talent that they possess that some older guys just don't. And it just is what it is, you know what I mean? And those are why those guys like a Caleb Wilson and a DeBanza and a Boozer and all these guys will end up being top 10 picks because of that level of talent.
Coach, you talked about how Dante affects winning at
Yep.
such a high level. You can see him first one back on the fast break. He's going to keep turnovers.
Yep.
His inbound plays.
Yep.
What makes him? You talk about his mind being so special.
Yep.
What else is it about him that allows him to do that?
I think the biggest part is that all is what leads to it is qualities of just winning. You know, he's won. You know, he's won Peach Jam Championship. He's won state championships. He's been around winning. He comes from a family of basketball, so understanding the value of the game. Like a lot of this stuff and a big part of this team and moving forward is you have to make sure the pedigree and the makeup of the people you bring in the building is about winning. And Dante is one of those people. And I've always felt that way watching him over the last, 3 years, you know, watching him and recruiting people on his team. I saw that in Dante and I always said if I was somewhere that valued what Dante Allen would bring to a program, I would recruit him. And so when I got this job, he was one of the first people that was on my mind because everything that was happening at Villanova. So for Dante, he has all the tangibles and his game is still developing. So he's going to get so much better as a basketball player, but he's able to impact right now because of his intangibles and because of his makeup.
Jay, I want to ask about the atmosphere. You've had the last couple games,
Yep.
it's really felt like an ACC gym in there.
Yep.
Can you talk about how important that is and you know, what are you expecting from tomorrow? How important is it against UVA to have a big crowd?
Well, you know, the atmosphere here at Watsco has been fantastic. I think the students and everybody has showed up. It's really changed the building, and it adds a different excitement. And this is what I envision this place being. It's something like that for our especially our ACC games. So moving forward, we need them. Boston College, Louisville, I think are the last two. Now, Virginia, to me, is one of the top 4 venues to play at in the ACC, behind Cameron, behind North Carolina State, which is always crazy. I put Virginia right there, and then Louisville and Carolina also in that breath. But they have a basketball tradition. They have basketball fans. They have pride in the university. So it's always a great crowd and 14,000. And what I'm excited about is our guys have lived in these moments already this year. You know, we've been able to win on the road. We've been able to win in tough environments. So it shouldn't be anything that's shocking to us. I'm just excited that we're one of the teams that people want to show up and watch. You know what I mean? That's just a testament to them.
Time for a couple more. Coach, how important is that winning pedigree that you've spoken of so much about your team in stretches like this where they're on a win streak?
Yep.
It's February, postseason's almost here. Just how important is that mindset to make sure that your team doesn't get, I guess, too high?
Yeah, you know, for me, it's important in the sense of when we're in those moments like North Carolina State and Virginia Tech where there's no quit, you know, where it's still the whole time is thinking about how can we win, finding ways to win, finding ways to push through. And in these moments, you know, for us and for me, we still haven't done anything. You know what I mean? Like it's nothing is set in stone. You know, everything we want, we still have to go get and we have to go take. And that's just game by game. You know, like I've said before, it's not like we're sitting here in first place. It's not like we're sitting here a top 10 team. You know, it's not like we're sitting here as a 1 seed. So if you're not in those situations, you can't rest on anything. And especially us, like we can't rest on anything. We have to be the ones that are always hunting.
Anything else for Coach? I guess it's just also to ask about True Washington.
Yep.
His return.
Yep.
What have you thought about his play so far?
Yep.
Since his return, and
Yep.
how important is he in this final stretch of the season?
He's huge. You know, he's always been a big part of our team. I thought North Carolina State, his impact on the game and getting lost in the game was huge for us. And, of course, the free throws. But I thought the 2 threes he hit, some of the defensive possessions within that game was big. Now, against Virginia Tech, he didn't play as good, but we really didn't have our best stuff. You know, without Trey was the one down the stretch who kind of willed us. But, like, Malik wasn't good. Sheldon wasn't good. Like, we didn't play great. So no one played good. And I thought in that game, everybody just we found a way when we didn't have our best stuff. But moving forward, and our best version of us is with True in it and playing his best as well. So it's just getting him and continuing to get him reacclimated to the team. And, as the season goes on, roles change and things change. Dante has played a little bit more now in his absence, and he's kind of earned some equity in that position. And so now, it's True's job to, and I've always said this to True, he's one of the guys who's one of our X factors who can impact us and make us our best version, and we still need that from him.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.